Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to be reviewing, or I guess analyzing is more the correct term, of the unique forms of continuity in space. My Umberto Burachi? Burachi's a JoJo character, fuck. Umberto. I know his first name at least. I'm not doing a visual painting this time just because whenever I look at this thing, I'm just like enamored by it. And I can't really explain why. So I guess it does job good. But I guess it's because it looks to me like a man standing forward in the front stance. Any of y'all did martial arts, with his body's leaning a little bit too forward. But even though it's made of very unique and I would say quite weird shapes, it all connects together to make a certain form. And none of the shapes are, what I would say, like a traditional shape. It's not like, ooh, I see a square there, or oh, I see a circle. It seems to connect together in a way that gives a sense of movement and billowing in the wind, even though it's not doing any of that. I think that's where the real trauma of this thing lies. That I can feel a sense of power looking at it. That it's standing in front of, like, just getting hit with the trials of life. Like the wind just coming at it and blowing out parts of its back, but it still just seems to be standing strong and direct. Like, that seems to be all my feelings about it. But I wonder why it looks so human, you know? Because when I look at this, I only see a human. I guess maybe like a demon from Promised Neverland. But like, how is that any kind of fair? I don't assume that the guy who made Promised Neverland fucking looked at the statue first and stole his design. Because when it comes to paintings, I can kind of understand well, like, oh, you got the idea from. But sculptures, I wonder where he got the idea for this sculpture from. You know, the material seems to be looks gold. I can't say it really is gold though. But why pick something that's so shiny or bright? Why not like steel or iron, something less toned down? And I think he did that so when the light bounces off of its shape, you're able to notice its curves more. Like when I saw this piece of piston, I actually didn't. I don't know how I missed this, but his equivalent of an ass, one shaped, one just spiked up, and the other just kind of rounded for some reason. Its chest, even to me, looks very pointy, like bras from the 80s. I get a sense of strength from it, like it's supposed to be muscle. And even though it doesn't have traditional feet, it seems more like heels. So maybe it's supposed to be a woman instead of a guy. But half of this is half of this is me just fucking guessing, honestly. Because I think it is supposed to be a woman. Because considering, I would say the legs, but people's legs are generally pretty thick in general. But also, it seems its waist is very tiny in comparison. It's just that its shoulders flare out a lot, and I know for the fact that I don't know for a fact, but I presumed that this piece is based on a man or woman standing in the wind, facing the trials of life. But why no arms? You know, how does that? What is that supposed to mean? His legs are there, standing strong. Its upper body seems to be close to upright, facing forward. How do arms get in the way of that? Because depending on the position of these assumed arms, the meaning could be inherently entirely different. Like, not at all the same thing. I think the piece doesn't have any arms to show a sense of powerless. Like, life comes at you, right? You're kind of powerless to change the events. All you can do is just stand there, take it, and hopefully be able to stand proud like the statue. That's what I think it's trying to say. But with art, it's always, it might not be saying anything. It might just be fucking cool. I think it's pretty cool. But like, that's kind of like, damn, annoying. That an artist can make an expression of like the eternal thoughts and ideas, but it didn't really mean anything. It's just an expression, but there's nothing you can perceive from that expression. Like, why is his hips pointy? Why is one of the shoulders just fucking blaring out? Why do they have a hole right in their fucking gut? I just realized that. I can't answer any. Why is its calves exploding? Why do they have like, I guess, an extra toe on the back of their calves like dogs do? It could be implied that if I connect it to my previous idea about like how it's supposed to represent a guy standing, facing the trials of life or whatever, if I connect it to that, it could be saying you become more monstrous the more life comes. But even though you become more monstrous, it's necessary to take the trials of life. And there isn't inherently something ugly about it. It's actually quite beautiful that you became more monstrous, that you adapted, that you've grown, that you've been able to take all those experiences and stand proud to become something akin to this, an armless, thick-legged monster who can just stand and accept life as it comes at it. But considering the title, it could just be a study on shapes in general and how they stand and create correlation to each other, how light shines off of them. I'd rather add this thematic element though, and I think I don't have any way to compare this to any other people's thoughts or ideas about this piece, but I think there is some semblance to it. So hold up, let me go through my ideas again. It's generally humanoid shape. It's standing in the front stance, with the stance you get to get ready or move forward. But even though it's standing front stance, it's not lunging its upper body forward. It's standing up pretty tall. It's tilted a little bit to be ready or to be ongoing for what's coming at it or ready to move forward. It has no arms, and humans, one of the main reasons why we evolved in one of the main theories why we evolved every opposable farms to make tools to help us change the world and stuff. But this has no arms. So it could be that it has no power. But it's still strong depending on considering its stance and the thickness of its legs. But the rest of it isn't human. Even though it's humanoid, it's shaped quite differently. That it becomes monstrous, but it looks like pieces of it got malformed or disformed by whatever's coming at it. And even though it's deformed, it stands proudly and it shines pretty beautifully, I'd say. So that could be the whole theme of the piece. That standing and facing the trials of life, it's tough. It changes you into something else. It deforms you. It takes away your power. But the idea of doing that inherently requires a lot of courage. And that courage itself is beautiful. Like, it's good to have that. I think I've told the story before, but I once had like a very existential depression, and I decided if like I went down a determinist rabbit hole and believed nothing in life was like my choice or anything akin to that. But then I realized, right, that if I can't choose my life, I might as well choose my death. So I decided when I was like 95, I'll go to a forest and kill myself, and I'll let the wolves eat me to like get back to the world. But then I realized if I can't choose my life or my personality, because it's based on like factors outside of my control, right? Me deciding to kill myself, it's just me following those factors. It's doing the thing anyways. If I'm gonna do this thing anyways, right? I might as well just stand proud and take whatever life comes. And I might get malformed over time. I might be changed. I might get distorted. My personality might be completely different. I might look back and just feel disgusted by my previous self. Or maybe my previous self, if you ever saw me now, might just be utterly bored, utterly fucking disgusted by me. But I think that's good. Being able to take experiences and incorporating them into you, or just changing to match those experiences, are pretty good. I think that's probably one problem with I have with this piece. It seems that, right, that these so-called experiences, when it hits this piece, the piece misforms to become something else. But then it seems like it takes those experiences in and forms into something else. I guess if we look at the chest, it might look like that. But if I look at its side, like if I look at its the left abdomen, it looks like something just pierces right through the piece completely. And instead of taking that in, he just reshaped to allow that to happen. The same thing happens with his head. But it could be that its chest, while it's pointing forward, that actually took in a new experience. It's in the middle of forming. Yeah, the more I look at this piece, the more I like the idea of the theme I presented. But I also like how it looks like it's in shape, that it's constantly moving. It's like it's like when you pause Naruto during the Sasuke and Naruto fight the first time at the valley at the end. Like you shouldn't do that because the bodies are misformed and misshapen. But you know that the next step of that is power. The next step of that is explosive action. So maybe Umberto, the artist, wanted to capture that moment right before the explosive action. He wanted to leave you waiting to see it. I've said it before, but I look at this, I see power. I don't see a weakness, even though that's kind of what my theme presented. I don't see weakness. I see power. And it seems to be just at the moment when it's ready to explode. Yeah, that's the best I can do right now. That's the best I can think about for this piece. But thank you for watching, everybody. I actually really like this piece. The more I thought about it, the more I just liked it. At the end of this, and at the end of this analysis, just looking at it, I noticed it was fucking really good piece. I think that's what's gonna happen with most of the pieces I review. That I'm gonna look at it, come in with like zero knowledge or zero thought about it, and then it would just transform and become something like really precious in my mind. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you want, you can watch my other painting reviews or analysis. I say that like this one's painting. No, this is a statue. My other art reviews or analysis. I might do media reviews sooner, but those feel like they need to be way scripted. Because I want to be like, I want to notice inconsistencies in the plot. But yeah, thank you. Goodbye. I hope you watch my other videos and have a good day.